Host.
All right. Hi, Geraldine.
Hi, Elizabeth. How are you?
Hanging in.
Hello.
Hi, is that Pablo? Hi, Pablo.
Yes. Hey.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
I was listening to all of your tracks. God, they're fantastic.
Thank you.
Oh, amazing. There's Ali. Hi, Ali.
Hello.
So yeah, I was saying to Pablo, I can't believe his music.
Right?
It's like something from another planet. It just is so interesting.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. And the fact that Daniel, hello.
There we are.
Alejandra, hi, good morning. So Pablo, we've got to work on getting you here to UCSB and do, a bunch of guest lectures and this sort of thing. Ali, I was thinking, what about Mimoshka? We could talk with her.
Yes, we can try. We can try. Yeah. Let me copy you next time and talk to Ninoshka.
Okay.
Hey, Elizabeth.
That might help.
Yeah.
We don't have enough people in Zoom. We need more. It's I need smaller pictures of everybody.
One time, Richard's actually teasing because one time when we still came into the studio before COVID, I decided to bring the Santa Barbara Ukulele Club, and I don't know, it was 40 people in a room the size of a bathroom playing ukuleles all together. It was fantastic.
And then somebody flushed the toilet and we all got sucked out. That was probably one of the most unique and interesting programs that I had ever produced up to that point, with that many ukuleles in one room. I don't know what the record was, but we had to have come close.
I think Richard, send us the link. Send us the link of that.
I think there are only photographs. All right, we're just about ready to start. I'm going to feed you audio, Elizabeth.
Okay.
And I did get your music.
This is the Artist Response with Elizabeth Stewart. And you're welcome to join us.
He's the
Stay tuned for a program produced by Richard Dugan and researched and presented by Elizabeth Stewart, who welcomes the great artists of our community. What follows is a conversation of an artist's experience about the artist's response to trying times, creativity, reinvention, recovery, and of course flexibility, which is in fact the narrative of our present time.
In 3, 2, 1, you're live.
Hello, Santa Barbara. It's your chantress of everything valuable and beautiful, Elizabeth Stewart. And I have my good friend Ale here, and we are celebrating tango, but not only tango, but I want to tell you guys, if you haven't heard, LoCA Milonga is in town big time, and they've been doing some wonderful stuff. They are here to promote tango and Argentine culture, and they do it in a unique way. Of course, tango, music, dance, friends, food, and what you're thinking is, that's just for the young folks. Well, Ali sent me a picture of her last master class, and they're all ages. And that's what's so super important about this art form. So we also have with us a bunch of people. We've got people from all over the planet here. But I want to start by saying, what's so interesting about tango is that it's not just like, I come from the background of classical ballet. It's not like that. It's got the whole range of emotions. All the human emotions you can think of are encased in the dance and the music. So Ali's website, Ali and Geraldine's website, LoCA Milonga, you have to go take a look at it and you see what programs are coming up here. Why do I listen to tango? Because the sound of the violin and bandoneon is the sound of pure soul. All emotions are contained therein. And then Ali gives a quote, which I can't say, but the English translation is, "Get close to me and you will hear my heart." I mean, how about that? So Ali, how do you say that?
Ayúdenme, chicos. Help me out here. It was acércate a mí y oirás mi corazón.
Sí.
Right? Yeah, oh, tangueros, tell me, it's the first line of, what's the tango?
Acércate a mí, llora mi corazón. Da, 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 di. I've been playing it with a band. I don't remember the name.
The song,
¿Cómo es?
the song is called Esta Noche de Luna. Is this?
Yes.
This means this tonight the
Moonlit night.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's so beautiful song by Di Sarli, Carlos Di Sarli. Yeah.
Well, that's,
Yes.
okay, now we know, but you know, these are so, and every so often I check in with Ali because what she brings to Santa Barbara and all the points, you know, Southern California, and she organizes friends to host folks. And I had the last time we talked, I had Hugo Sartori and Winnie Chung on, you know, Grammy nominees. They were so interesting, such great musicians. And then I hear that, you know, Daniel and Alejandra did a master class here. And I've got photos and videos of that class. And what was so beautiful about it was Ali was emailing me that Alejandra had some foot issues. And she got up on stage and she was dancing with her husband, and it was just beautiful to watch. And if that was here, I mean, this is what you can find at LoCA Milonga. And then also, you know, a big shout out to Geraldine Freitag. I watched her on the videos and she placed first in Vals and third in Tango Pista in ATUSA. And that's the national tango competition in the USA. She was dancing with Derek Tang, and a beautiful, beautiful couple. And there's a photo on the website of her receiving this massive award for her dance, and she looks fantastic, you know. And you know, I'm just embarrassed because Ali sent me so many photos of the gang that's here today, and also some of the people that have showed up and danced at LoCA Milonga. And no matter what age, everybody is so darn beautiful. And it just makes me, it makes me so jealous. Daniel and Alejandra are just stunning, stunning to watch, stunningly beautiful. And I have to say their young son could dance could dance any genre. I mean, you know, like I say, I'm an ancient, Balanchine. I was trained in a Balanchine company, so my background is you know, ancient classical dance. But I was watching your son, and I thought he could dance any genre. I mean, he could dance ballet. He could dance. I mean, he's just got that movement down of the pure dancer. And you know, here again, I'm jealous. Oh well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well. What, Daniel?
It was a wonderful night the last Monday at Santa Barbara, and it's like you said, it's incredible to see how the people is loving tango, is embracing in tango, and all ages, and there are no ages for tango. So we are so happy to see that, and very proud of our Argentinian tango, and very, very happy. And Valentin, our son, he started dancing at the age of 6, Michael Jackson style, and now he's dancing tango with us. It's a very, very, very good kid. Yeah.
Was that him dancing tango with you when you were here Monday?
Yeah. But you mean Daniel Juarez and Alejandra were here on Monday. They did the master class and they did the demo. And also
Valentin, their
yes.
son was dancing with them as well.
Yes.
That's what I thought, because I saw the competition that your son won when he was 14. Looked at that and I was like, oh, how fast he grew up. I mean, you know, that because he's as tall as you are now, Daniel, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's taller than me, actually. Yeah. No.
They do that. Yeah, they do that. Well, Ali, would you introduce everybody? Because I'm going to screw up everybody's names and yeah, and tell a little about the glories of the folks we have on here as you wrote me today, you know, I'm honored, and I don't get nervous about interviews because Richard and I have been doing this for 14 years every Friday. But this one had me a little nervous because looking at the backgrounds of everybody that's coming today, that's on the air today, these are important people. So will you introduce for me?
Okay, so we have my friend, partner, Geraldine Freitag. She is a dancer. She has also an incredible mind that encompasses many areas, including marketing, and this amazing strategist. So with her, we are working on this, spreading the idea of tango in our community. We have Alejandra Armanti and Daniel Juarez, a beautiful couple that's been dancing together for many, many years, have done amazing work, really pushing the limits. And I don't want to, they can tell us more about what they're doing now, which they have such a huge trajectory, but I find what they're doing now with they're standardizing the teaching of tango, and they got a credential, international credential, to make their method, you know, like even out, and they have amazing depth in their knowledge of the body. We are really lucky that they had to stay over because of a visa issue. They couldn't go to Canada, so we get to keep them a little longer in Southern California. So, and then we have Pablo Aslan, who's joining us from New York, an amazing musician, the best bass player for tango, an amazing tango jazz musician. And I am trying so hard to get him to come over and tell us about this collection that we have here in Santa Barbara, hidden in plain sight in the library.
Yes, I looked into that, and the Edward Piacourt collection. I looked into the archive on that, and I thought, my gosh, you know, so this is super interesting. Who knew? I mean, I you know, the special collections. There is a gentleman born in Paris, and let's see, 1925. And they married an American, but what he did all his life was collect 20th century Astor Piazzolla and the Argentine tango, Latin American music. And not only that, this collection involves, you know, the cylinders, the old cylinders, many cylinders. I mean, it's going to be so interesting for Pablo to come and get a hold of those. I want to add a couple of things to Ali's introduction, but I want to do that when we get back from the break, because Ali actually was kind enough to give me a list of top achievements of the people that are here. So, hey, Richard.
Yes, ma'am.
So let's go to quick break. When we get back, I'm going to, well, first of all, this is a teaser. Alejandra and Daniel have received the UNESCO International Dance Council approval for teaching of tango, and that is pretty special right there. Pablo, if you look at his website, fellow musicians say Pablo is the top bass player for this style of music, and has been for a long time, and will probably always be. You know, I mean, there's incredible things that you can learn about these folks. Okay, Richard, let's go to quick break. We're going to introduce these people more fully. And by the way, Richard has done wonderful things with Pablo's music, so we're going in and out with Pablo's music. Don't turn that down. Back in a minute.
All right, you're clear, and I'll clear out the music so you folks can chat. That is some good stuff. That's some upbeat stuff.
Yeah,
everybody dance.
Yeah. So Pablo, where are you in New York?
I'm in Brooklyn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you've been there since the 80s?
I got here in 1990. I lived in LA. I have a whole story. My tango story starts not far from where you are, in the San Fernando Valley. So yeah, it's a long journey, but that's where I really met tango. So it's about 35 years ago. I started working professionally as a tango musician. So, and eventually, yes, 1990, I moved to New York.
So, but you're also a scholar.
Well, a tangologist, which is we are kind of a mixture of fans, amateur researchers, and knowledgeable people. Tangólogos, we say in Spanish. So yeah, I've been researching. In fact, when I was in school at UCLA, as I also became a professional tango musician, and so I focused my master's work on researching. They had a very good collection, late '80s, of books. I read all of them, and I wrote a paper on the cycle of innovation in tango music, from the early tango to Julio De Caro to Pugliese and eventually to Piazzolla and everything. And so I did some academic work, and then I've been trying to write a book for the following 35 years. I spent not writing a book about it, and reading and becoming an expert and talking to a lot of people. And somewhere along the way, I heard about Edouard Pécour, who's another nut, who in his case, he was a professional collector because he was a professional record store and record man in France. And so he amassed this collection and became a personal friend of, right, that was his. And so Piazzolla walked in there one day when he was living in Paris, and they became friends. And so they have a very long history.
So I was fascinated because I studied at UCSB. I have my doctorate, and basically I have never heard of this. And basically 3,000 cylinders.
Yeah, that was the first. That was the first thing that the library. Let's let that out.
In 3, 2, 1, you're live.
Welcome back. It's Elizabeth Stewart, and I'm honored to be joined by some of the luminaries, and I don't use that term lightly, but the luminaries in the tango world. Alejandra's brought, for LoCA Milonga, the organization to promote tango and all things Argentinian, the culture, the music, the food, and the liveliness, and also the friendship that folks, and this is also her partner in crime is Geraldine Freitag, who's here as well. And I promised you I'd wax poetic about some of the folks that are here. Salient points about Alejandra Armente and Daniel Juarez. They created their own companies, Corporación Tango, I'm going to say that wrong, in 2003. It's been around for a while, 2003. This company has earned the highest honors and praises. They're chosen to dance for tango festivals all over the world. They do a dance celebration actually on Tango Day, which is in early December. By the way, Valentin, their son was born on Tango Day.
No.
They've done El Dia del Tango, Mundial del Tango, the World Tango Cup for thousands of people on huge public stages all over the world. They perform for the president of Argentina. They travel all over the world to teach tango. And like I said, they developed the first international school to form the education of tango teachers. UNESCO gave them the International Dance Council approval for this program of teaching tango. And they have judged many, many tango competitions. And not only that, probably their greatest production is their son, Valentin, because take it from me, an ancient dancer, he is highly, highly gifted, Geraldine Freitag is here. She is a friend and partner to Ali. They are on the LoCA Milonga board together, founders. She's a tango dancer from Argentina. She lives in Los Angeles, but comes to Santa Barbara to teach an excellent tango class here at Santa Barbara. She has been in the US 8 years. She has a 5-year-old. Oh, the 5-year-old was born on Tango Day. That's right. Okay, Geraldine's son was born on Tango Day, December 11th. She recently, and you can see if you want to look at LoCA Milonga website. She placed first in vals and third in Tango Pista at the National Tango Competition in the USA. Pablo Aslan is here. He's a bass player and tango scholar. He is the best tango bass player in the USA. He's joining us from New York City, from Brooklyn. And
Yes, ma'am.
Richard, if you had to ask the question of a master tango person, Daniel, for example, who's been dancing for years, what would you ask? I know what I'd ask. I'd ask about rehearsal time, but what would you ask?
I would ask, what is it about dance that you have made it your life's vocation? Because I will tell you right now, I've never been a dancer. The most I have ever remember learning was in 8th grade, where they taught us the box step in order to go to that 8th grade dance.
Wow.
You danced at your wedding, Richard, did you not?
Well, yeah, you could call it danced.
Wow. Yeah, it's in Argentina. Alejandra and I, we come from traditional families in Argentina, but our family, they are not dancers. So we don't know. We're just born to dance. In my case, in family, my grandfather. He was instrument builder. How do you call it? A luthier.
Luthier.
Of guitars and charangos made in handmade guitars. So all my family is musicians. They play folkloric music in Salta. Salta is a province up in the north in Argentina, but they don't dance. And when I was a kid, same age of my son, when he was 6, I tell my mother, I want to dance. I would like to dance folkloric. I started in folkloric dance in Argentina.
And if, God forbid, you could never dance again for whatever reason, like they wouldn't let you, let's say a law was passed that says this young man, no more dancing. What would that do to your, shall we say, I guess, your soul, your spirit, your psyche?
I don't quite understand your question. I'm sorry.
Okay, let me rephrase it a different way. How important is dancing to you?
Oh, but it's life. It's part of our life. It's so we've grown dancing with Alejandra. We have more than 30 years dancing professionally. 35, says Alejandra. So it's part of our life. We are with Alejandra. We are dancing together for 35 years, and we are partners in life. We are husband and wife in life. We have a son. We cannot imagine our life it's not dancing.
Yeah, Richard,
you've seen some of the programs that we have here in the States, like Dancing with the Stars, right?
Yes, of course. Actually, the dream of my son is to be part of that show someday.
Really?
Yeah. And that's why that's one of the reason that we are staying in Los Angeles, because my son Valentin is training a lot here in Los Angeles, taking a lot of classes, because his dream is that, the world of dance.
I was listening to a gentleman who he participated. He was 58 years old when he participated.
I can see him on Broadway for sure. He's got that expressive line.
He was dancing with a 24-year-old and he was telling the story. He's a comedian, so obviously the story has got a lot of humor in it. But he was talking about how he thought they had done so badly just in the first round, second round, that it's like, we should be voted off. But his fans kept voting him in, and he's going, "Oh my God, no, no!" And he made it to the final round and came in second. But he ended up hurting his knee, hurting his ankle. He tore his groin. I mean, the man was a walking disaster area.
Who is
but
this?
He just kept going.
Richard, who is this?
Wow. I
What,
mean,
who are you talking about?
some
Which
people,
guy?
I don't know if he really loved dancing or if he just liked dancing with the 24-year-old.
Richard, who are you talking about? A comedian that won Dancing on the Stars? Is that?
Well, he didn't win. He came in second. His name is Jim Ingval. I believe it's Jim Ingval, but the last name Ingval, comedian, very funny guy, down home humor, very, very cool stuff. And, but I've watched some of Dancing with the Stars, and all I can tell you is I can watch dancing. Okay. I can do that as a profession if hired.
Yeah, you know, everyone can dance. Everyone can dance. It's just about to go ahead. And in tango, you just need, you know, to put the passion and to put the heart on it. So I think you can join us to tango. Yes.
Now,
Yeah,
tango,
Richard.
though it's called the forbidden dance, I want to say it's a little slower. I mean, it's something that someone like myself, I'm 62, my knees aren't too bad, but pretty much anybody can learn to do it because it's not a high speed kind of like the cha-cha or the Charleston or something.
Yeah, no, you know, the most important in tango is the embrace and the feeling and to work together with your partner. Okay, it's not important the fancy step, the tricks and everything. Just a warm embrace, feel the music, step with the music, and it doesn't matter the step, just working with the music.
And there are different styles, if you will. What was it I heard? Like the Argentinian tango, is that right?
Yes.
Because that's one of the dances that Jim Ingval apparently had to learn to do.
Yeah, tango was born in Argentina, so that's why we call it Argentinian tango. Our way of dancing. Actually, in Los Angeles, you can find almost every night a place for dancing tango. Geraldine here in this reunion is running one of the place of the Milongas in Los Angeles. If you like to talk about it, Geraldine, that's very important, Milonga.
Yeah, that's right. Like the same as in Santa Barbara, where alongside with Ale, we're trying to promote tango and actually anchor it. Los Angeles, it's a little bit more established, as Daniel was mentioning, and one can dance every single night of the week. One can go out and dance. And the beauty of this dance, as you were pointing out, is the fact, and Daniel was emphasizing as well, is the fact that everyone can dance it. Like, it doesn't matter the age, the condition, we can all dance it. And it's about that. It's about connecting with yourself, connecting with another person through the music and in a beautiful embrace. And we have the chance to do that every single night of the week in Los Angeles. In my case, as Daniel was mentioning, the fourth Sunday of the month, alongside with other friends, we organize one of these tango parties that we call Milongas, where people gather to dance. And specifically in Santa Barbara with Alejandra, we're trying to expand the knowledge and awareness of tango and this beautiful media to connect with others through LoCA Milonga. That's why we organize these events that gather people from the tango community, the current tango community in Santa Barbara, and we invite the community, the general community, to join us and experience the beauty and get closer to this magical world that we're part of.
One final question, and Elizabeth, then I'll let you take us to break. Has it been measured how many calories one burns off doing the tango? Just curious.
Well, there are certainly out there some scientific studies about the cardio activity that it involves. I couldn't dare to say how many calories. I guess it depends on what you had for dinner beforehand.
Okay, Elizabeth, I turn it over to you to take us to break.
Okay, so Richard, I have to say that if you danced, and you should come to our Santa Barbara LoCA Milonga, if you tried it, you know, you would be as beautiful as the people you see before you. So, you know, there's a fitness level, but there's also, you know, the cool thing about dance is you have a control over your body that that you're more, I guess, more aware of your body as another voice. And
well,
so
certainly people can actually, that is used as or referred to in some cases as another voice. The dance is your voice. You're speaking to people through your movements, and
that's right.
That's pretty cool. I'll stick to using this voice.
Yes. Well, so when we get back, I want to talk to Pablo a little bit about, because the other side of this art form is, of course, the music and the relationship. What I want Pablo to talk to us about is the way the music has grown with the dance over the years. He's a scholar of tango and a fantastic musician, the best bass player for tango in the world. And I want to know the relationship between the dancer and the musician. You know, for example, like I said, classical ballet, the orchestra, the conductor is not looking at the dancers, basically. I mean, it's, you know, there's no connection there. In fact, you know, a lot of people rehearse with just a recording. There's no connection between the let's say the bass player in the symphony, if you're performing Giselle with Giselle up there. There's really no relationship. But I think with tango, it must be different, because I can see the relationship. I can see the eyes of the musicians, and they're watching the dancers in a different way. And I want to know from Pablo how where that intersection is when we get back from the break. Hey, Richard, let's go to quick break. And then I just want to reintroduce LoCA Milonga in town here, Santa Barbara. I think September 18th, I think there's another program coming up. So, you know, you can take a look at the website and look and see, you know, periodically who's coming. There's master classes, there's tango and dance parties, and it is reasonable. It's usually around $30 a person. It's very reasonable. And you know, you get to learn with people like Daniel and Alejandra. You get to learn with people of that stature in the world. So let's go to quick break. When we get back from the break, I want to talk to Pablo, music and the dancer, the musician and the dancer. Don't turn that dial. Back in a minute.
All right, I'll clear out the music. You folks are clear. Your mics are cold, as it were. And thank you for answering my questions like that. I appreciate that. Both of you.
Thank you.
I was going to ask this question on the air, but I thought maybe it wouldn't be all that appropriate. I was going to say that I've heard it said that dancing the tango is as close to sex as, but not having sex. And I have to wonder, where did the term the forbidden dance come from? Who coined that, or why was it called that?
You know, Richard, I used to compare the 3 minutes you dance with other people in a song of tango. It's like to having sex, you know, in some way, because you have to connect spiritually with that people, and every time you invite the other, so it's different. Every person is different than other. So it makes this dance so rich in many forms.
Do you know why it's called the forbidden dance? Is it from like what you just explained, and that's why it was called the forbidden dance? Was that the name the church gave it, the forbidden dance?
No.
Do you know Pablo? Maybe Pablo knows.
No, I never heard that as an official term that anybody gave it, but it had a bad reputation for a long time at the beginning. I think that now it's a little bit of a caricature, because unfortunate, I think, also because it's really a dance that is more about just a moment of intimacy that doesn't need to be sexual. In fact, there's problems with it being sexual, and I think society is evolving, and a lot of people are hanging on to the idea that it's sexual because sex sells, and so there's a market for that kind of crap, and it's really more about a lot more than that. And in fact, there's a lot going on in around the world of people same-sex dancing, and you can't begin to convince me that it's about getting laid, but it's about something else. So two people coming together to dance is very special. It was at the beginning of the 20th century, and it still is, and that's why tango is alive, because it's a magical thing that happens between them and the music and this and that. But I hope it doesn't have anything to do with sex.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's incredible to watch, and when two people know it, like the back of their hand, it's incredible. Elizabeth, here we go, in 3, 2, 1, you are live.
Welcome back. It's Elizabeth Stewart, and I have the great honor of speaking to some of the luminaries in the tango world today, brought to us by Alejandra Folguera. And Alejandra and Geraldine have LoCA Milonga here in town. It is a club group. You don't have to be a member. You can show up. You can look at the website. You can come to an event. You can be taught by the best. You can also just have fun, enjoy the people, enjoy the friends, the food, the music, etc. And I asked Pablo Aslan, who is the world's best bass player for this art form, the relationship between the musician and the dancer. Pablo, can you give a little erudition on that score?
Yeah, it'll be hard to stop me because it's one of my favorite topics. Look, in a historical sense, I think that the dance and the music have been sort of following each other, but I tend to think that the music follows the dance, that the dance appeared because of a certain need for dancers, and that the music caught up with it more than once in the 20th century, first in the 20s and then again in the late 30s and 40s. And the music took off on its own, and the dance kind of has its own codes, and so there's a lot of also conflict there. But as a bass player playing the heartbeat of this music in milongas for all these decades, I feel like, of course, there's a connection, and of course, the energy that you put into it when you play in a live. I was fortunate enough to work regularly at milongas for a long time. And so I feel that connection with dancers. In terms of it varying what we do, not really, because there's so much going on in the music, but being in the same room with people dancing to your music, I always say it's the ideal audience more than people sitting down. I would rather have 200 people dancing than 200 people sitting down. So there's definitely, and after so many nights of just pouring it out and getting it back from people, at the end of the night, people give you a nice big, because it's kind of quiet. The interaction with dancers is kind of quiet because they're busy dancing, and so it's not a regular audience. But at the end of the night, you get to look back and you realize it makes a difference. And especially since recordings are so old, and to hear live musicians, I think it makes an impact on people.
Another question, Ali brought me some really interesting folks. Actually, we interviewed them from Argentina, and they're young tango musicians, and very cutting edge, really interesting, and their music was really interesting. And I'm wondering, there's the like you said, some of the recordings are old, some of the styles of that music perhaps are historic. Your music tends to be really free, Pablo, and there was a quote that I read about your music. Somebody said it's as close to jazz and improvisation as you can possibly get. Are there new directions happening in tango?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And in my particular case, I am a jazz lover from the moment I started making music. So I knew that that was going to be somewhere in my music, but the identity of being from Buenos Aires and what I feel for tango is very deep. So what I use from jazz, or what I borrow, or what I learn from jazz, is about freedom and about responsibility when you play, because you're improvising. And so I've taken tango to a direction where we improvise an enormous amount, which is unusual in tango. Parallel to my work playing Piazzolla's music and playing the Milonga, I developed this, which we call tango jazz. And at this point, it's a fairly accepted name, you know, but when I started back in the 80s, it was something that I was experimenting with. And so fortunately I've left many recordings along the way where that is, you know, it's represented. I found musicians in Buenos Aires particularly were a lot more in tune to what I was trying to do. So I made most of my recordings in Buenos Aires, but also things that I've done in New York reflect that. When I go to Buenos Aires, I hear a lot of new music, a lot of different things going on. Again, when I started, this was not happening. So I'm very happy that this is very much alive. There's great dance bands that play old style, but they're trying to bring new energy into the music. And there's a lot of contemporary tango music. There's some spectacular bands, singers, composers. There's really a lot. I spent a lot of time in Buenos Aires recently, and I must say it's inexhaustible, the amount of different things that you'll see, and of course the dancing. I mean, there's dozens of places every day to go dance, and you know, a dozen great concerts as well.
So I want to know from Geraldine now, you know, Geraldine, you were really responding to what Pablo was saying in regards to the interconnection between the musician and the dancer. So what struck you?
Well, I'm mainly as a social dancer. I love dancing to live music. The feeling is just amazing, and what is created through live music with that group of people, the energy that the collective creates thanks to that live music is just magnificent. And what I loved what Pablo mentioned about the improvisation, which is the same that happens in the social dance, right? Argentine tango is mainly improvised. We don't have structures. I have no clue of what my partner is going to lead. We create as we go along, and the inspiration with live music it's just wonderful. And we create a community, a communion, right? We feed back from others, and it's just beautiful because we are dancing to their music. They're also feed from the energy that we are creating, responding to their input. And we not only dance with our own partner, we dance with ourselves, with the partner, with the musicians or the music, and we dance with each other. It's like, it's a whole universe. So because if it's improvised, we have a system where we dance all together. It's not just that specific little world of the partner. So it's just wonderful. It's really very, very magical. And again, everyone can experience, and that's what we're sort of devoted to, that hopefully many more people can experience that. It's really beautiful.
And I just want to just say that, you know, what Geraldine is speaking about is an experience that we can all have here in Santa Barbara. Just take a look at the website, LoCA Milonga, and you'll see the events coming up. Saturday, September the 18th is the next event coming up, and it's, like I said, it's $30, $35, something like this. Master class if you like. You can also just have a good time, sit and partake of the fellowship. Also watch the dancers, etc. They call it a tango and dance party. But there's also professionals that come and teach. Both musicians and dancers come and do master classes at LoCA Milonga here in Santa Barbara. And we're hoping that that Pablo Aslan will come also and take a look at our archives here, because we were talking about this amazing archive at UCSB, Edward Paycourt collection. There's 100,000 pieces of music in the special collections at UCSB that I never knew existed. And I would love to hear Pablo get into this archive and then explain it to us in a couple of wonderful lectures here in town. So we really hope Pablo will come from Brooklyn and help us through that collection. I want to just, Richard, do we have to go to another break? Because I want to ask Geraldine a question.
Yes, we do. Why don't you ask her after the break?
So I'm going to ask Geraldine what it's like to get up on stage and compete. I want to ask her that and see what her response is. Geraldine has just recently won some amazing awards. She placed first in vals and third in tango pista at the National Tango Competition in the USA with her partner Derek Tang. So I want to know what that felt like, and how were you afraid? Were you confident? Did you expect to win? What's the mindset? How do you prepare? What's the relationship between you and Derek, et cetera, et cetera. So all those are good questions. Hey, Richard, we'll go to quick break. When we get back from the break, Geraldine's going to tell us what it's like to look that beautiful and be that beautiful on stage, winning awards. Don't turn that down.
Hey, you are clear, and Elizabeth's question is very valid. I have never seen ugly tango dancers. I'm going to tell you that right now. And if they do, they're doing it underground somewhere in a warehouse basement.
That's why we dance in the night.
I'm sorry, that's why you dance what now?
In the night.
Yes, dancing
during the day.
in the night.
The reality. Yeah, right.
What the dance is next closest to the tango?
Nada, nothing.
Nothing.
No such
Ladies and gentlemen.
I would not know how to answer that question. I honestly wouldn't know. I guess it would be another dance with
there's nothing that compares with the tango, basically.
I mean, probably there is, that I just don't know about it. Probably Paula and Alejandra can help me, but what I think mostly it would be another dance where there's embrace involved, where there's that intimacy created. Probably that, because I
was talking with someone a little while ago, and we were talking about that issue of connection.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about it from the standpoint, and this sounds kind of odd to put it in this format, but I saw this quote online on LinkedIn, and because I have a personal connection in this regard. And it says that the opposite of addiction is not sobriety, it's connection. And it seems that that's all we're trying to do throughout our lives, is connect with people at all different levels. And the tango, obviously, a much more intimate level in that respect, as has been discussed, but that seems to be the case.
I love what you just said, Richard. I just don't want to hold hostage the conversation. Please, Ale or Paulo, help me out here. But yeah, I think that is the beauty of tango.
Hey, I don't mind being held hostage by you.
You truly do. Believe me, you do.
Uh-oh. Wait a minute. What are you trying to say? Now, Elizabeth, what I'm doing, I'm running a long break here because this next segment will be the last, and you'll probably have about six or 7 minutes total. And that's just fine, but I need to make sure that the program times out correctly for future broadcasts.
Okay. So Pablo, will you come?
Yeah, I actually have a grant finally after many years of trying to make it. We got a grant a few months ago from the Latin Grammy Foundation. And so we're just trying to arrange the date for me to be there. They want me to work specifically on the Piazzolla holdings, and because I mean, I've been in a relationship with the collection and with the library at Santa Barbara from before they purchased it, and I visited the collection at Eduard's house after he died, and so I got to know it quite a bit, and so I kind of know more about it than they do. So they want me over there to open the boxes and go through it, which is the kind of fun that I you know, there's personal letters. I used it to research one of my albums. There's some personal letters between Eduard and Piazzolla that were very enlightening. And there's cassettes of Piazzolla playing at private parties. And I mean, there's, you know, there's a lot of very interesting stuff. And Eduard was very thorough. He was one of those very special collectors, you know. Videos, you die. There was a TV channel in Argentina that was all tango, called Solo Tango. So he not only videotaped everything, but he annotated the number in the video cassette and what happens in every video cassette. It's like boxes and boxes. So it's crazy, meticulous stuff. It's really my kind of people.
And it's Elizabeth to the end in 3, 2, 1. You're live.
Welcome back. It's Elizabeth Stewart, and I have the great honor of speaking with some luminaries in the tango world. Geraldine Freitag is here. Pablo Aslan is here. Alejandra Folguera is the director, along with Geraldine, of LoCA Milonga here in town. It's a group that celebrates Argentine culture and music. Of course, tango is a big feature of the Milonga. The music, the food, the friendship, the liveliness, etc., the passion, the emotions, etc. You can all be a part of it. Take a look at the website. Inexpensive to join them, $30, something like this, and you get to be taught by the masters of the craft. And Geraldine just won a couple of incredible awards for her dancing. And my question for Geraldine was, what did that feel like? How did you prepare? How did you meet Derek, your partner? What was it like to win such a high award? Actually was the USA Tango Foundation. So Geraldine, tell me more.
Well, it was unexpected. I did not expect first to compete, and Derek invited me to compete alongside with him. We met a long time ago, social dancing, and it's been always great dancing with him, again, because of his embrace and how he tries to connect and communicate with the other person. So it's been we've always understood each other very, very well. And then last year we started teaching together in Los Angeles. We have a class here together. And again, philosophically speaking, we were very aligned with our concept of tango. Not just the language of the movement, but also theoretically speaking. And then he invited me to compete, and I was not sure about doing it at all. And he insisted, and other friends said, why don't you simply give it a try? It is improvisation. It is what you love and what you do. So we did it, and we won. So I was very, very nervous at the beginning. But as days went by, I started feeling more comfortable, and he was very supportive, and also all our friends and all the people were very, very nice. So it was just wonderful. It was spectacular. It was unexpected, and I think it's a great platform to accomplish the bigger goal, which is promoting this and hopefully make it more available to other people to enjoy it through the music, through the dance.
Right. So Pablo, just very quickly, because we only have a few minutes left, the importance of the collection here in Santa Barbara at UCSB. Can you tell us quickly why it's important?
Well, besides it being comparatively one of the most important collections of tango recordings and memorabilia, it has an emphasis on a relationship with Astor Piazzolla. So there's a lot of unique things about it because of Eduard's personal relationship with Piazzolla. It has a complete Gardel recording collection and some memorabilia from Gardel that also make it very important. And it's the first one, I believe, that is going to progressively be more available for the research public. Otherwise, they're private collections. Collectors are very jealous and sometimes misguided about what to do with their collection. And Eduard's is the first one that is going. It's in a professional environment. That's what's so special about UCSB Special Collections and David Soiber, the director. Is that it's physically being preserved and also digitally being made access over the years. So I hope that my visit with the Latin Grammy grant that I was awarded helps to make it more popular. I'm glad that we're talking about it here because it is a treasure and it's something that is only going to get better because they have a good plan to digitize and to make it available to researchers and to the general public.
And you say that you're coming and you're opening boxes, so this is fairly, you're just getting into it.
Yeah, crate digging for researchers. It's just, you get in there, you don't know what you're going to find, and I did that for a few days before the collection was sold. In fact, I published a video about it, but I can't wait to just get my hands dirty in the not in the stacks and not in the database, but inside the boxes to see what it is. There's all these scribbles from Eduard all over the place. It's just a life's work, So
I'm so glad that exists in the whole. So many of these collections are diffuse. So
yeah, they sold for pieces.
Hi, I'm Chris Cohen.
I'm Lisa.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining.
So much. Thank you, Elizabeth,
you.
for having us.
Yeah. Bye, Pablo. Bye, Geraldine.
Thanks so much.
Bye, Ali.
Great
Thank you.
program. Great
Thank you,
program.
guys.
Thank you, Ale, for coordinating.
Gracias. Chao, precioso.
Gracias. Bye, Pablo.
Chao.
Gracias. Ciao.